So hello, these are LEGO Ideas designers, and you are?
I'm Nick. I've been here for about 3 years, and this is I'm the designer for the Lego side of the new Voltron model that's coming out.
And my name is Sam, and I am the design lead for LEGO Ideas.
Great. So let's talk about these wonderful sets, including the new LEGO Tron set, which I've heard is extremely popular, so much that it's quite challenging to actually buy one. The demand, I think, is quite surprising, right?
Surprising is I don't know if we see it as surprising. We're happy that it is under quite high demand. But we saw something special in it.
I've seen the signing event in London, I believe.
Yeah.
And the amount of people, the queue outside the door was like incredibly long.
Yeah, and it was a great response that we had so many people that really wanted to get it on the
exceeding
first
the
day.
expectations, right?
Yeah.
I think that happens with a lot of idea sets that expectations and the actual demand are not quite aligned.
Yeah. We find the surprise was the NASA Apollo Saturn V, which has totally exceeded our expectations and been one of the best-selling LEGO Ideas sets ever made. Yeah.
So one of the things about LEGO Ideas is that I've heard that you are not allowed to create new forms, new molds of pieces. You are only allowed to use existing ones with new prints if needed. And can you comment on it? What's the reason behind it? How much it limits your design process?
Yeah, so one of the kind of rules on the LEGO Ideas submissions is that you're not allowed to include new parts that don't exist in your submission. And this is because we as LEGO Ideas want to show everyone the endless possibilities of LEGO. Of course, we take advantage of the new elements that come from the other teams, so we have that option, and we have the option to make new colours and things like that. But we really want to show everyone, including the rest of the design team over there, the amazing possibilities that the system is offering. And you see, just with this huge, broad range of products, the amount of different things that we can do with the inside the limits of the element portfolio.
All right. Have you guys worked on the Tron set?
I did the prototype for Tron Legacy, so I did the first version of it and then handed it over to another designer called Junior Suzuki.
Any chance you've met Olivia Wilde while working on it?
I wish.
It doesn't. Yeah, because that was the part of the set that some of the guys were really excited about. Let me tell you.
And we really wanted to respect also the actors and the way they look, and also the design of their costumes. So we've gone pretty much all in on the detail on the figures. So we even gave her the signature tattoo that she has in the movie, and the discs on their backs. So we're really proud of the way they look.
Yeah, I think that the minifigures really add a lot to this set, and you made the wheels actually roll.
Yeah, that was one thing that was like a must-have. But you had to be able to race, like in the movie. Yeah.
Are you following what our fans doing to your set? Because I have seen, I believe, Jakey Brickworks guy, the YouTube channel. He made like a moving version of this set.
Yeah.
And you have a little lever, and the bikes move left and right.
Yeah. It's really nice to see people taking LEGO Ideas into their own hands. One of the biggest things we've seen is with Ship in a Bottle, where people are putting their own ships in, or maybe not even a ship, they're just their own creations.
I've seen a lot of feedback on that in the Star Wars fans group, because they have started putting small Star Wars ship inside it, and it actually looks amazingly good this way. All right. Can I ask you about anything about the review process? Because one of the, as you are probably too well aware, one of the issues with the LEGO Ideas is that there is no real feedback from the LEGO group why a particular project is rejected. And of course, as we know, most projects get rejected, sometimes all of them. And how do you feel about it? Can you... And then, I don't know, what can you tell to the fans who are disappointed? Because sometimes we have this announcement that is really, the LEGO company built some hype around it, and the announcement is just that no project got approval.
Yeah. So when we are at the kind of 10,000 mark where the product goes into the review period, and the review starts for, I don't know, 10 projects maybe, however many there might be. We are considering every product, so we're not picking one before it gets to that point. And actually, before we even get to the point of reaching out to our stakeholders around the company, we're actually testing. One of the first things is the feasibility. Can we even make this from Lego? So that's where Nick is coming in, and the other designers that we've had working with us, where when we're in the review period, we're actually trying to see if we can even do it. So every model is kind of handed a designer, and their job is to see if it's possible.
All right. And was there some project that got approved even though your initial impression was that it would not be possible to pull off?
It's probably the one we just finished.
Well, yeah, the one we just finished. It's very much a case where you have to make sure before you do a big announcement like this that you know for sure that it's happening. And of course, there's a lot of internal debates as far as like the model itself goes, but also IPs, all that kind of stuff. So before we do announce it, we make sure that pretty much everybody is in line and agrees that we can do this. And this was one of the most hotly disputed ones from a model point of view.
All right. And we are talking about the Voltron set, of course. What can you tell us about it?
We can tell you, actually, just going back to the previous point, we have been working with designers like Lendy, who's worked on Voltron, to make sure that we all want the product to come to life, and we want them to also be involved. We want the fan designers to be involved. So we are constantly coming back to them. So with Lendy, we worked a lot together on Voltron. So we're showing the new parts that we made. What do you think? This is what we're thinking. Here's the box art. What do you think? Just every step of the way, telling our side of the story. And because in the end, the fan designer of the original submission is the advocate for the toy. So we really want to make sure that the Lego product is advocated for, and the changes we may or may not have made, that they all have a reason for being there. So it's been really nice to work with all of them.
Mm-hmm. If you can tell me, I was wondering how the licensing process works. When you want to create a set like a Tron, which is licensed on a movie property, what's your first step? How do you start bringing it to life I believe on the legal side?
Yeah. So where we start is always with plastic bricks. So we're always starting with Lego bricks and starting to see if we can do it. And kind of parallel, we have a team that is dealing with the license to see if we can sign them on. And this is also happening in the review process. Is it a license that we can have, for example?
Because Tron is a Disney property right now, so it has to be
so there's some that are easier for us to obtain because we have a long-standing relationship with the likes of Disney and NASA. But then when it comes to Voltron, which is multiple partners because it's owned by Universal, but also by the original creators of Voltron. So we have those to deal with, and we're going backwards and forwards on the IP approvals. So we're handing over the model when we're happy with how it looks, and then they can give us feedback.
All right, a tough question. So far, not a single Technic submission has ever been approved in the IDS program. How do you feel about Technic submissions? Do they stand any chance? Are there some factors that make them more difficult to approve?
I don't think they have. It's not that they don't have any chance. I think we just haven't found the right one right now. So we would really like to branch out into all areas. We've never made one with mini dolls in like Friends. So we would like to eventually evolve Lego Ideas into having the chance to have all types of Lego models. We've had kind of more display models and more play models. And we've had, for example, the birds and the maze, which are totally crazy ideas, and that's where we've really been happy. And I guess we're just waiting for the right one to come along at the right time, and let's see what happens down the road. And we could definitely end up with a Technic set down the road.
Right. What was the coolest part of working on the Voltron?
The coolest part of working on the Voltron is, I think, seeing it all come together. Like, it was such a when the product when we first started working on the product, it seemed like such a huge uphill battle because it was just there's so many red flags from our point of view. It's like, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. It's too crazy, maybe. But once we actually started winning some of the battles against the model, we're just like, now we can sign off at least this part of the model. That's pretty good. Once that started really ramping up and the model came together and you can see it actually becoming reality, that was very, very exciting. And especially now that we got the box in recently, that was a very special moment.
Because it seems from the outside that the development process on the Voltron was rather short, right?
Yeah, so a lot of people were talking about how it was very long, but part of that was because it hit 10,000 right after a submission round closed. So we took it for half a year of review, and then we extended the review period of that one specifically. And in the meantime, I had been working on the model to try and check if it was actually feasible. We started working on the product in November of 2015. Yeah. That's when Sam first kind of badgered me into helping him out and work on it. And at a certain point, I took over. But yeah, so the development was quite long. It's just that the way the timing matched with the review process ended up making it so that it's been almost 2 years since it reached 10,000.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I wonder, do you have some special graphic designers assigned just to the ideas line? Because the boxes of the ideas sets are one of the most creative, I believe, among all the Lego teams. Each is unique, each has some very special thing. I love the Ship in the Bottles box, for example.
Yeah. We have different types of designers allocated to us. The graphic design team is working with us on prints and characters. So when we need minifigures, they're coming up with new minifigures or like new decorations on the existing parts that we have. But when it comes down to the box art side, we literally have designers on that side of things clambering to be a part of Lego Ideas, because it's never the same. You know, every time it's a new start of a new design and a totally new way to communicate Lego. So sometimes we get some reference material, like Tron Legacy. We ended up receiving some great material from Disney that we could use on the box. But then for something like Ship in a Bottle, it's totally made from scratch. So it's turned out really great. And so we have some great ideas, you know, where we say, I would really have liked it to be like a pirate's map or something like that, and then the guy just goes away and he also had the same idea, and so we're collaborating a lot where we have some ideas but they also have their expertise and a lot of ideas as well, and you know, the boxes, they all stand out in their own way, but still being kind of a family with the same icons on the packaging.
Right. Speaking of the Tron, did you consider putting some light up elements in the bikes? I guess everybody asks that.
Yeah, we always consider stuff like that. But we wanted to be true to the fan submission, which didn't have that in. And we felt they only had this kind of glow look to it, even if we didn't go that direction. But we've actually never tried to light the final version up here, I don't think. So
no, we should try.
We should try and light it up, or see if the fans can light it up for us.
What we do often is like use blacklight for fan photography, coming from the fan background.
There's a lot of third-party Lego compatible lighting manufacturers, because I'm sure it's really hard to do with Lego product and lighting Lego product. But there are some small LEDs I've seen that people put in models that could probably help here, fit in there, I guess. I'm wondering if you are observing the way that the Lego Ideas community is reacting to what projects get approved. What I mean is that when a project gets successful, I believe there's a number of similar projects being submitted shortly after. For example, many spacecraft models, many houses like the Fisher store, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you think that you are creating new trends by approving projects?
I don't know if it's by approving a project. We definitely see trends coming in. For example, there's in the past year or so, there's been this huge revival on space. So like classic space icons like the Saturn V, Women of NASA, and we're heading into the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. So the whole world is going back to space, and the fan community have been building models like this for years, like hugely detailed. And for us, it was more, isn't it about time that we took one of those in and brought it to life? So this was the one that was the best for us at the time. So and who knows, in the future we might go into more, or maybe a different type of highly detailed building.
What if, for example, somebody sees the Voltron and submits Gundam?
Yeah, and
what are the chances of it getting approved?
Who knows? Anything can happen in LEGO Ideas, I think.
All right. Let me finish by asking you, what was the craziest submission you have seen on the LEGO Ideas so far?
I don't know. As one of our designers, he once posted Justin Bieber.
I think my favorite crazy one is the parrot.
That's a really good
one. The guy who
one.
made the original red Pirates parrot with the one that had the printing on it, right? I think it was about this size, like an upscale version of it. And I love upscale Lego elements, so that was. Actually, because I'm part of the LEGO Ideas team, I get to help in staff picks, so I get to occasionally drop Hassan a line and be like, "Hey, can you put this in the staff picks?" And it made it into staff picks. Didn't do much for it, I think, but I still want it to happen. So keep those belts coming. That's exciting.
There's a pretty good one called Delicious Red Lobster.
That was also the same guy.
Just made me laugh so much when
just a giant red lobster. I personally like the more absurd things than the crazy things.
Obscure stuff, and that's how we end up with things like Ship in a Bottle.
Sure,
a bit more abstract.
See a far share of these.
Yeah.
Maybe I should submit like the Holy Hand Grenade from Monty Python, life size, for example, with sound effects.
Yeah, why not?
All right, that's one idea. Anything you would like to tell the fans?
Make sure to visit the LEGO Ideas website and submit your ideas and
vote too.
And vote on ideas, and who knows, the product that you would like to see on the shelf may come to life
right here somewhere in the future.
This.
All right, thank you very much, guys.